So I want to talk about neoliberalism, and neoliberalism is simply the latest mode of liberal thinking in the UK regarding race. And in terms of this, we have the dichotomy of the mind and the body. So in terms of this liberal mode of thinking, the multiracial body is accepted to a certain extent, but the multiracial mind is rejected. The African body is accepted, but the African mind is rejected. So what we're seeing is that the African mind, the mind is the final frontier of racism. Culture, which comes from the African mind, is the final frontier of racism. So the body is accepted. We see a plethora of multiracial bodies in adverts, even within the Conservative Party. The leader of the Conservatives is Kemi Badenoch. I think she's Nigerian, if I'm correct. So the multiracial body is accepted, but the multiracial mind, the African mind, is not accepted at all. And so this plethora of multiracial bodies strewn across the British landscape in adverts, in magazines, everywhere, would suggest that really we have overcome racism, that we are in a stage of racial conviviality, but that does not embrace the mind. And a recent example of that were my neighbours. And I was having a conversation and I dared to drift into a Jamaican vernacular, which is my ethnic origin. And I also veered into a kind of road vernacular, which is how I've been socialised as a youth within school and within the area that I belong to. Doesn't mean that I'm not a good person, and it doesn't mean that that's not my full personality, because my dad raised me with Queen's English, or to speak within a clear English vernacular, which is what we hear now. That's also a genuine part of me. But because my neighbours caught a snippet of this Afrocentric dimension of my personality, I was completely rejected, and now they don't talk to me. It's as if I've gone into their homes and robbed them blind of their silverware, and have been rude to them, and have been violent towards them, or have transgressed some boundaries in a very serious way, not just revealing an Afrocentric dimension to my personality. So this is what we're dealing with in terms of neoliberalism, and it is unfair. I would need a brain transplant in order to forego the Afrocentric dimension of my personality. That is the unique interaction, the unique relationship I have with the phenomenal world. That is the world known to my senses, that structures my experience. You cannot reasonably expect any human being to give that up, no matter whether they're African, European, Asian. That is going to be a core part of who they are. And any reasonable society needs to accept human beings on that reasonable basis.